It's been a few months. I don't know if you guys remember my voice, but name's Trey. Got a new podcast. Got a few guys that you may or may not know. Big Paul W. from the worst state in the fucking union. And a guy that some people call Jimmy Linguini from the worst place in Canada, Toronto. This is Comic Book Wars. But might not be what you think. So, guys,
I mean, I'm Jimmy Linguini, but I don't think Ohio's that bad either.
Oh.
By the way, I've been there. It's not that bad.
P-Dub's here. It's not that bad, only because I've never been anywhere else.
It's pretty bad.
But I've seen you in Baltimore.
What do we not agree on?
Well, he said that he's never been anywhere else, but he's been other places. I don't get it. Whatever.
I just got an alert on my phone. Jimmy Linguini is live.
Yeah, like losers like Paul subscribe to my YouTube for some reason.
You're an entertaining fellow. I mean, you were the grabber by the pussy. Canadian
Yeah, but I mean, like,
innovator, man. I mean, shit.
can we just call Paul a loser? I like that Paul's here because I just have someone I can just call a loser.
I appreciate the invite. I thought it was a joke at first.
No, absolutely not. You've always been, like I said, you've always been really nice, and Jimmy likes you, and Jimmy doesn't like anybody. He doesn't even like me. He blatantly tells me, he's like, I don't like you, but I like Paul. Okay,
well, because you just do lame stuff.
Maybe this podcast might not be a good idea. I don't know, but I like you enough that it'll work.
You leave hangouts, and then you're just lame guy, I guess. So.
I hate hangouts. Hangouts is that thing where I want to delete off my phone so bad completely that I'm so close to doing it. If you would stop sending me shit when you get high.
That's like how I feel about Tinder and Bumble and this new one that I found for hookups.
Wait, what are the other
It's
two?
called like Phil or Feld or something. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's trash. These are all trash. My phone is trash.
So the app sounds like someone is getting a blowjob?
Yeah, it's called Feld, but I think, or maybe that's an I or an L. I don't know. It could be Feel D. I don't know, but all the girls talk about like how they have boyfriends, but anyways, it's weird.
I think I did offend Jimmy once, for real.
Oh, there was he got mad that you showed me a screenshot of y'all's conversation. That's exactly. I totally fucking know what you're talking about. He's legit mad about that.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
you didn't talk for a good while. I thought we were.
The app is okay, I guess. Feld
what?
or whatever.
That was one of my favorite.
Feel ID.
Was you sitting there just staring out the window swiping?
Yeah, come on. You have to swipe in those kind of situations. What am I supposed to do? Converse with you guys? I was in the front seat.
What am I supposed to do? Converse? You don't have to. But
I don't know, man.
You're a lot more likable in person than you are online, though.
I disagree. I think my favorite part of Baltimore was still you walking up to Valiant and asking them about the Green Ranger TV show. I refused to go anywhere near you. I heard Green Ranger and just walked away.
Yeah, Dr. Joe was like, this is a bad idea. Don't do it. I was like, you only live once. See what they know. And I proceeded to ask them when the Ninjak web series was coming out. And they told me they could get this panic look on his face like, fuck. Not this question. Got all flustered. He's like, well, it was on IGN for like a week and a half. And if you didn't get to see it, it's not going to be on anything else. Like, oh, great. I was like, so what's up with the Bloodshot movie? He's like, well, so Vin Diesel. I was like, yeah. I was like, that was last year. Like, what's going on with that? And he's just like, well, these investors. And it was just funny. This guy was swimming in shit and couldn't get out. I didn't want to step on his neck too bad, but Valiant.
No, that was a good one. And then we went to Source Point, and then I don't think we said anything to them. I don't know. That's my story for you.
I had a good time. I was really happy that you came. It was a really good surprise. And
I told Jimmy bet me $100 that Scott Reagan money. Shit. Fuck, I didn't even think about that now that I'm thinking about that.
So
God,
what?
I know you're not listening, but I'll send that money in a minute. But Yeah, no, Jimmy bet me like $100 I wouldn't come, so I would totally spend 1,000 not to lose 100 to Jimmy.
True.
And
mean-
like I said, it was interesting to see in the couple months that I had come step back, like what has gotten hot and what's not, and everything else. I mean, the people buying some of the books, the Thor, Silver Surfer books, and it's just interesting. The Morpheus books, some shit like that. It was just a lot of head scratching stuff. It's like, why are these books? Why are people buying these books? And why is this now? This and that. It was just interesting to try to peel back a few layers and see what was what and why. Still don't understand a few things, but that is comic book speculation in 2018.
Was there anything on your radar that just never made it to the masses that would have if you had more input?
In regards to
Just comics, like, I don't know, this issue.
no, I mean that's the thing about it. You know, everyone kind of asks like, you know, why I left Unpressable and et cetera, et cetera. It just I enjoy reading comics. I don't read as much as I used to, but I like talking to the people that read comics. And Jimmy would seem like the only other one that really read comics. So it was just kind of tough to get into speculation and everything else, because that's how I speculated is reading. I mean, like I said, I don't read much Marvel. And I don't read as much DC as I used to. But I mean, I read my base Batmans and Justice Leagues and Teen Titans and the Bat books and, you know, the big crossover events, things like that. So it was...
but that's what I mean, like stuff that you read or that you picked up on. Was there anything that
actually the guys told me a couple days before that Quesada Life of Captain Marvel 3 variant, but I looked the whole show for Baltimore and wasn't able to find one.
No, it was no. It was Captain Marvel Life of number 1. It was the variant for issue 1.
No, I'm positive it was not 1. It was 2 or 3. It was the one where Quesada, she's a black cover virgin. Where
it was the first. It was the first issue.
I think Dino submitted a couple of those.
Yeah, Dino got. I think Dino got a 9.8 or something really good on him.
They're the first issue though.
No, it was a great book. It was one of those covers that I could see. You know, it's probably it's number 3, by the way.
No, it wasn't. It was no.
I'm looking at it right now. There's a 9.8 copy on eBay. Vin Vivia has it for a $1,000.
No.
But it was one of those covers that I could see that's going to stand the test of time, in my opinion. It's black. It's you know, one of those ones that's going to be impossible. Hardly not too many 9.8s out there. It's one of those 1-of-100s that I could see not many people ordering, because, like I said, when's the last time Quesada's been that hot? I mean, I know what Jimmy's going to say. But, I mean, as an artist, he hasn't garnered that much attention the last couple years. Is he one?
No, what am I going to say?
I don't know. You're probably
I'm trying to think of the last time he was hot. No, he just does like 1 in 500 variants, and then he's too busy like focusing on making Wolverine not smoke anymore, and he's just a loser. So I don't know.
Before you know, he's also the executive, the EP on all the Marvel Netflix shows.
Could be.
No, not could be. He is. He was on the Kevin Smith podcast, but. Totally transitioning in and out, but did you guys know that the Iron Fist and Luke Cage viewership from season 1 to season 2 dropped 3/4? That means literally 3/4 of their audience dropped from season 1 to season 2. I mean that's unfucking heard of if you really think about it.
But what's the time frame? Because they released the whole season at once. How long do they?
Well, I mean, here's the thing about it is, I mean, we're comic book people to an extent. I watched season 1 of Iron Fist, and I actually didn't think it was horrible. I thought that once you got past the first couple episodes, it wasn't bad. And I told everyone I thought Luke Cage was fucking just. It was horrible. I thought it was thrown. The Afrocentric shit was thrown into everyone's face at the time, and it was a great actor, it's a great storyline.
The what?
Like the Afrocentric stuff, like
No, that wasn't the problem.
No, the Harlem stuff, like it needed, like the Marvel universe needed to see that side of it, but that storyline with Diamondback wasn't the one to do it.
Well, no, the problem was, and this is the main problem with almost all the Netflix shows, is they're too long.
You think the hour-long format only
No,
works?
there's too many episodes. They're having too much going on. If they had it shorter, more people would have wanted to watch the second season. I didn't want to watch the second season because after I watched the first one, it was like I can't believe I just got through all that nonsense.
I couldn't.
Because I'm not saying it wasn't good, but I mean, there's a lot of parts where you're just like, why is this taking so long to finish watching? So I don't know. It isn't. They aren't enjoyable binge watches. So
All I
don't
know is when I was like, okay, I was gonna give Iron Fist season 2 a chance, and that first episode, those damn Meacham kids showed back up. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I literally got to deal with another season of these fucking weird, fucking twins or whatever they are. I was like, come on, let's inject some new blood into this. Because Iron Fist in the comics isn't this big of a pussy. Iron Fist in the comics is kind of a badass. He didn't lose fist fights and alleys and shit like that. He didn't have a fucking perm, all this other shit that they got going on now. Iron Fist will fuck people up. Not this Iron Fist.
Did you watch any of the new season of Daredevil that was released recently?
No, I was either going to do that tonight, I was going to do the podcast, and I was going to start season 2 of Making a Murder, or How to Catch a Murder, or whatever the fuck the Stephen Avery deal is. So.
Oh my god, you know he did it.
Yo, he's totally 100% guilty of something shitbag, but I also think that police department's as guilty, if not more guilty. So.
Yeah, but I mean that's the U.S. I mean the police can't do anything, but either they can't in Canada either. They're all losers.
Daredevil's good. I think I'm on episode 10 or 11.
And they haven't missed the mark on any of the seasons before that, in my opinion. Like, I thought the Elektra stuff was outstanding. So I thought the Kingpin stuff was. I mean, out of all of them, that actor really is Matt Murdock to me. The Luke Cage guy's really good too. But I just that's a tough 12 hours to sell just staying in. That's the problem with those Netflix shows is everything's in like a couple blocks in certain neighborhoods in New York. If that makes any sense, it just doesn't feel like you leave that area, and it's just almost just like it's not exciting to go see an episode, to see the same dingy streets and all that other shit.
Well, I mean, they try to tell one story, but it takes too long to tell the one story. They should just be telling multiple stories, or they should just be having shorter seasons. But whatever, that's just my opinion.
No, I don't think you're necessarily off on that. Something I do like to talk about. I don't know if you guys have the DC universe or not, but I am absolutely the Titans is one of the best things comic book that's been done yet so far. I know we're through 4 episodes, but they have a home run hit so far through 4 episodes, in my opinion. Did you guys happen to watch or have that by chance?
No, what is it on? It's only on the what?
It's that DC Universe, their streaming app.
So they release a new episode every week?
Every week.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, they don't have that in Canada. It's supposed to be released in Netflix, and I don't want to pirate it. So.
Oh, I totally can understand that. I won't give anything away, but it is dark, and they've done some really cool things. Like there's an episode 2 is called Hawk and Dove. And you're like, oh my god, are you kidding me? Like, what kind of CW ass costumes that they got at fucking Party Bazaar are we gonna have to watch? But it's not bad at all. They did it. It's interesting. So
has it affected any books at all though, or not so much?
I haven't paid any attention. Like I said, you can tell by the name of the episodes like I said, it's Hawk and Dove, and this last one was where they go and the team kind of meets in Ohio. It's kind of funny. Beast Boy, from my boy John Z, is kind of meets the team at the end of this arcade. So they're kind of coming together as a team. It's got some interesting Batman interludes. Batman's in the shadows on a couple different scenes. The Dick Grayson, the kid who's playing Dick Grayson. I wrote this down. This shows how shitty prepared I am. I have to Google it.
True.
How much is it a month?
Here's the thing about it. When it first came out, they offered 15 months which was 12, and then 3 for free for like $80. And they said that the unlimited on the comics is unreal. It has all the Batman movies, all the DC animated Batman stuff, all the animated anything that is done digital or print about any of the DC characters. It's on there.
Is it 4K?
Yes,
That's cool.
it is 4K, and they plan on once the Titans is done, they have a Swamp Thing live action. Jeff Johns said that they plan on having 52 live action episodes a year, one new episode a week.
Wow.
And he said obviously it's going to be theater quality. It's not going to be, live action TV style like CW. It's going to be, Netflix comparable, maybe a little bit higher. So
Yeah, because there's some trash Netflix shows.
I will say this. I was very, very skeptical. And the girl that plays Starfire, unbelievable. I was dead wrong. She's really, really good. Really, really, really good.
Yeah, she got trashed when her outfit came out.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing about it is that I didn't. She's not playing that Corey. Like she's more of like a. She's kind of in this amnesia stage, and you can tell that this girl has some street to her, and it actually works really, really well. And I really, really like the character. So she has kind of taken Raven underneath her wing so far. That's kind of like the protector. So I think you'll actually really like the show. I know anything that's popular in pop culture, you just can't like because you're Jimmy Linguini. But I honestly think you'll like this show.
Oh.
Speaking of that, let's talk a little speculation. Some of the stuff that's going on with some of the Marvel speculation right now is pretty crazy to me. The Miles Morales stuff, the Kamala Khan stuff, all that stuff that we kind of thought was going to go crazy one day seems to be going crazy and then some.
A lot of regret.
You got regrets?
I mean, I think there's a lot of regret out there. People who were like, "This is not going to happen," and sold their books or got rid of one or another.
No.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think like the Captain Marvel key books would be selling for what they're selling for right now. But aside from that, I mean, I don't have too many regrets with selling any books.
The only one that I think, like I said, I let go of a few variants. I mean, I had all the, I think 3 different copies of ASM 667 Delatos. I mean, all the big ones I had them in 9.8 and made money off of them. But I kind of wish I'd have held on to a few of them a little bit longer. But like I said, I did good on a couple of those books, so I can't complain about anything.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know like I guess the Miles stuff is going crazy right now, but it seems like every minor character seems to be getting picked up, and people seem to be jumping on it, which is just crazy. Off of just like random, like I guess this week was Kate Bishop, or the rumor about Kate Bishop possibly being in the Avengers 4 movie.
Yeah, I saw you posted about that. That's very interesting.
But I mean, the other one is of course. Frank Grillo said that he was told that the next Captain America is going to be a black woman. So people have been jumping on Spider-Gwen Volume 2, Issue 1. And I don't think it's been selling for anything. I mean, the variants might do well. But I mean, that's the first appearance of some character who apparently is a black Captain America.
You know what?
Female. It's weird. I don't know. It's weird that they would go with that instead of a Falcon. But
it's like I said. Let's hope Marvel's not that stupid. I'm all for diversity, but like I said, I'm not for forced. You don't kill Captain America off and then fucking bring a black girl in just to appease people. Like I said, give us a fucking few years to bring in a new Cap.
They might be pushing for is with Gwyneth Paltrow being Rescue in the new Iron Man movie, and I guess they're gonna probably try to push Robert Downey Jr. out, or at least have them as like a co-team. They might push for a full female movie with like Captain Marvel.
There's just
and
no way. Marvel
Rescue, and then I guess like this new Captain America, and then any other female characters that they might be adding.
I think
Marvel has not fucked up yet. I mean, in the big picture, they have not fucked up yet. I just don't think there's any chance that they do that and try to force this young Avengers this quickly. I could be wrong though.
I think that'd be a mistake. I get including and putting weight on a female cast, but if you put too much weight on that side of the scale, then I don't think it's going to work in their favor.
No. Now here's the thing I don't understand. This Edge of the Spider-Verse movie that's being released into the theaters. Why is that moving the speculation needle? Why is an animated movie like that moving a needle when an animated movie has never moved a needle like that before? Now, I don't know if anybody's talked about this or not. Now, Big Hero 7, there was a couple variants and a couple number ones that went up for a few weeks, but nothing.
Big Hero 6.
Yeah, did I say Big Hero 7?
Yeah. I didn't know if that was the sequel. Is that what the sequel was called?
No, I don't even know.
I'm incorrect.
I'm a little intoxicated myself.
No, you're good, man.
But I was just trying to think. But why now? Is it the Marvel just weird digital fanboy push that they get? I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of positive shit that Marvel stuff gets at all points in time as opposed to everything. No, that means that they have a rabid fan base and they built that up over years and years, and good for them for doing that. But I just don't get why an animated movie with characters that, I mean, the story is going to be interesting, but David Schwimmer as Spider-Man doesn't work for me. I don't know if you guys seen the fucking preview or not. It just looks awkward to me. It sounds like a 50-year-old Jewish guy. I mean, that's exactly what he sounds like. It's like, this is not what fucking Peter Parker sounds like in anybody's fucking head. It makes no sense. I just don't understand why some of these books are going up the way that they are for these Marvel characters.
I mean, I've been following the speculative market for a few years now, and it keeps getting like where books keep getting hotter, faster, and it becomes weirder, and you don't understand what's happening. But I think it's mainly a result of all these different buying groups, and it could be like it could be pump and dumpers, and it could just be people that are just naive saying, "Oh, we need to all grab this book because this is going to be hot for this reason," or it's just very like just look at the Spider-Ghost number 1 in 100 variant.
Okay, will someone
like why is that selling? Why is that selling for so much?
Okay, will someone explain that to me? Because I would like to say at one point in time, there's very few people that probably knew more about variants or the high ratio variants buying and selling than I did. I mean that's what I specialized in, etc. What in the fuck is going on with that cover? It's not good. That's not a mover in my opinion. So the question is who is forcing the needle on these books? Is it speculation groups? Honestly?
Well, it seems like it might be, but I'm not sure. It's not. I mean, there's 3 store variants, right? So each store variant is going to have about probably a 5,000 print run. So each one of them gets that's 50 copies each.
Yeah. And
then enough stores order it, so there's going to be more than. I think there's going to be enough copies out there, but I'm surprised at how much it's going for. And now the pushing of this one copy just got graded. Oh, what will it sell for? That to me just screams pump and dump. And I mean, it's from like the usual offenders, but what can you really?
Are books cooling? And I'll get back to the Spider-Gwen thing, but are books cooling off a lot faster than they used to too? They're heating up a lot faster, it seems. Are they also cooling off as a lot faster than they have in the past, or am I wrong?
No, I mean, question. Is the first appearance of Rescue did that really stop selling well? Like I heard rumors that the book dropped in value, but does anybody know?
If I had it already sold from the first wave.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're falling off that much, but they are falling off to some extent. But I think it's still the same as it's always been. I mean, books don't always hold their value. They rarely do, especially in this kind of environment when it's a modern comic. I mean,
I guess,
modern books almost never hold their value.
I guess another way to put it is there's a lot more flashes in the pan than there used to be, it seems.
Yeah, no, it's there's I've said it for a while, and I said it on everything else. The it's the same guy you can get these 9.8 variants from. You can get a fucking dime bag of weed from, and everything else. I mean, it's just a different class of people have moved into comic books.
I mean, all these Edge of Spider-Verse mini-series books, like first Mechanical Spider and first Uncle Ben
What's the
Spider,
pig one?
and no, not the pig one, but like the fact that like Uncle Ben as a spider is selling well, like the pig, the pork,
The penny one?
no, Spider Pig. It's not Spider Pig.
Peter Porker.
Yeah, the fact Peter Porker selling well, that makes sense in my opinion. And I think that if some of those books should be more appreciated because they are low print run and they are tougher 9/8, especially when they're more kid oriented because nobody kept those books, and the ones that did are like parents were like, oh, you should have this first appearance so you could get into comics like me, and their kids never took care of them. But I don't know. There's a bunch of books that come out where there's no reason, like that one, Peter Porker, he's in the movie. But is Uncle Ben as Spider-Man in the movie? Is any of those other books in that mini-series that have heated up to $10 to $15 books, are they in the movie? I mean, look at Ice Cream Man 8. Why is that a $15 book? The cover B. I mean, it's just the market we're in right now where people are able to push books to that kind of price.
I've been wrong. I thought it's lasted a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I mean,
the Ghost Spider thing, I mean, it's a pretty cover. I mean, I said it before we went on air, and I think I'm quoting another friend of ours, but it's rain covers, snow covers with women on it with large busts seem to get money. But is it a $700 cover? No, I mean, it's a pretty artwork, but then
does she have like an iPad in, or did she have earbuds in?
Yeah, but then what is a $700 book? You know,
but do they have a wire on them, or are they like earbuds?
They have a wire.
What? Come on. What is it? This is some kind of vintage cover now? Like, shoot.
Maybe it's a Zune.
That would make it
well, it is
cool.
the Marvel Universe. We know Iron Fist had a Zune. That was so stupid.
There's a couple books I'd like to talk about that I still think are fucking grossly undervalued. If you guys have the time.
Yeah.
DC Comics Presents 26. Still... And this obviously comes from a little bit from the Titans TV show with Raven, but they spent a lot of money on this show to make Raven look as badass as she is. And then I go back and I thought they in the last couple DC animated movies with the Titans, they spent quite a bit of money on Raven. So I've also in the comic books, she's on the big team, the big Titans now. So I think that obviously she's a safe bet. And then it's just one of those rare books. You got Raven, Cyborg, and Starfire. All of them are never going to be A+ characters. You know, Starfire maybe could potentially be, and Cyborg maybe potentially be, but let's be honest, they haven't hit that point yet. But rarely do you find a comic that has that many quality first appearances in it, and it's very hard to find a 9.8. I think it's an undervalued book still at some of these prices. So I've been buying some raw copies and going to try to get lucky, press them up. What are you chuckling at, you little chuckle fuck?
Good for you. You're a good presser. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Also, the other thing is, I talked to Jimmy about this, but with this Edge of Spider-Verse and some of this crazy Marvel speculation, is usually there's some fallout and usually some trends to develop, and you can pattern a few things. Well, Miles Morales, let's look at him real quick. African-American man, takes over, I guess he takes over in some universe, some storylines, but he was initially brought in to take over the role of Spider-Man. Okay. Decent popularity, not the most popular storyline of all time, but people like the character. And he's kind of lurked, and then in the last, seems like 2 years of speculation, he is blown up. He had a decent storyline in the Infinity Wars. And what was the other? The Secret Wars Part 2. He had a decent storyline there. But, I mean, he's had a couple other storylines, but nothing crazy. But look what Ultimate Fallout 4 is going for right now. Raw copies, graded copies. I mean, even the non-variants are $50, $60 books. Well, that's pretty decent money to make off a character like that. And Marvel seems to be putting some money into the character. DC's doing the same thing on the other side of the realm on a character very similar, and I think people have not really figured it out yet, but Wallace West, the African-American Flash. First appearance, New 52, Flash Annual 3. Same exact scenario. Slight relation to the main character and Wally West. Takes over the mantle of Flash, et cetera, et cetera. Same trajectory, same type of character as Miles Morales. These books you can get on eBay still relatively cheap. It is an annual. It is a slightly thicker book. It is not easy to find in good condition. But it is free money because DC's spending money. Look how many different books, and I talked about this on the other podcast at one point in time. Look how many books this kid is currently in right now on how many different storylines. He was in the Deathstroke Dark Titan storyline. He's been in a ton of stuff. DC's utilizing this character, and he's very, very interesting. Buy Flash Annual 3, New 52s when you buy them, when you can find them cheap, because you will make money. My opinion.
That's interesting. I mean...
Now, granted, everyone's going to say that, the Ultimate Fallout has a variant. Correct. There is not a variant for Flash Annual 3. That is just a regular run-of-the-mill cover. But we also know that Jimmy's worked at comic book stores. I've talked to tons of people in that scenario. Those annuals, especially some of the later DC annuals, were grossly, not grossly under-ordered. Most store owners realized that if it wasn't a Batman annual or one of the hardcore major annuals, they didn't buy as many copies of the annuals.
No, see, what you're forgetting is, like, after the Flash TV show, flashback issues were shit because the TV show didn't do well. So it's not like there's a plethora of people being like, oh, all these flashback issues I have from the 70s and 80s are going to be doing really well. Like, oh, I'm so happy to be keeping them. So it's not like they're easy books to come by, especially in high grade, as you said, but they are out there. But I would say they're probably a much harder book to track down in high grade or in like any kind of presentable condition than the Ultimate Fallout 4s are.
Yeah, no, I think some of these.
But I mean, I haven't heard that much about Wallace West, honestly.
He's been in Titans. He's been in Teen Titans. I mean, he's
I guess he's not in books that are like really on my radar. But I mean, I completely understand what you're saying, and I see like they've been pushing for more. A more like PC type of world, and I'm okay with that when in the DC universe and in all the comic universes. But that's why specking on some of those characters is really gonna do you well down the line. I just a lot of these young DC characters. I mean, I there's so many young characters that DC are currently investing a little bit of money into, and you can tell that you can buy books very, very cheap from. So they're out there. Like I said, I mean, just look. I mean, there's free money in DC. DC's eventually going to get their digital shit. I mean, their animated stuff's top notch. There's Titans TV shows on a different level, production wise, acting wise, writing wise. You could see Geoff Johns' hands all over it. They're eventually maybe going to get their fucking film department. I don't dislike the films, but obviously there's huge problems with everything going on. So maybe I'm blind to the facts on a few things, but they're eventually going to get that figured out. And I think so you don't mind the films? Is that what you said?
I don't mind the films at all.
The films are just cheesy, and
but they're a movie. That's the thing about it is
no.
I can't.
The acting is over the top. The plots are really bad. At least that's in the movies I saw. Like,
did you enjoy Wonder
Woman? No.
Really?
Really, and then Justice League was really like that was the nail in the coffin for me.
I could see why a few people dislike Justice League, but
I liked Wonder Woman. I thought it was good.
I really liked Wonder Woman. Here's where I'm going with this is I think DC if they want to do something and beat Marvel to punch on something for once, they need to fucking adapt. Like they need to have the Batman who laughs, some crazy character, some new character like that front and center.
What do you mean? What happened to the Hulk Wolverine thing hybrid H whatever? Paul knows what I'm talking about.
No, no, man. But keep going. I want to see where you're going with that. I'm saying that DC needs to beat Marvel to the punch on something. And obviously Marvel is transitioning. If the Kate Bishop rumors and all these rumors that we're hearing about some of the Young Avengers and, the Kamala Khans and the Miles Morales and people like that being in the next phase of this Marvel, on this phase 2 and the later in phase 3, people are buying and picking these books up speculation-wise. Same reason we did when we heard the rumors on the Guardians of the Galaxy and all the shit. I mean, we all made money on that. Preacher,
Yeah, but I mean, come on, none of us thought that like Guardians of the Galaxy was going to be a good movie.
buddy. I know for a fact I did, and I know for a fact a lot of other people did in our groups. We made a lot of money on those books.
Oh, we did, but we didn't think the movie was going to be good. I mean,
it was a great movie. I think that was. I think that's.
Oh, I'm not saying it wasn't a great movie, but nobody thought that movie was going to be good.
Not that good. I think you're right. I thought it would be enjoyable, but I had no idea that everyone was going to fall in love with Chris Pratt the way that they did. And
I thought Big Hero 6 would have been a bigger movie.
I enjoyed it. The Stan Lee cameo at the end was creepy as fuck.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would have thought that would have been a bigger movie than Guardians. But I mean, you're wrong. Sometimes you're wrong.
But what I'm thinking is that DC does something different on they do a Teen Titans live action movie with Damian Wayne, people like that, or they do. They change the Justice League lineup up. Everyone knows the backstory on all the major DC characters. I feel.
Well, I mean, they're pushing for Oscar movies now, aren't they?
Well, it's the bean counters don't want to take the risk, and I think that's what.
But here's the thing about it, though, is if they do it, you know what? You don't need a giant budget. Look at Deadpool, the first Deadpool, that had mediocre CGI. But I mean, you could do a Batman Who Laughs or a Dark Knight Metal trilogy. And people would fucking flock to the theaters if the acting was done correctly and the storyline was true to what Snyder wrote. Are you kidding me? People would flock.
Well, they're also worried about, okay, I'm going to release a movie, but how can we need the story. We need Joe Schmo from.
Yeah, but DC's not brave enough to do that because they don't have enough equity on the characters. DC wants to milk. They want to milk an old character, then get more money out of it, et cetera, et cetera. But if they were smart, that's what they would do. They would just scrap shit and start with, like, I don't even know, like Blackest Night or just something crazy or just a bunch of heroes fucking die. You know what I mean? Just something.
Yeah, I mean, if they did Green Lantern properly, that could really build.
In your opinion, what is properly?
Well, I mean, Green Lantern could be done better than any Superman, just because. Green Lantern can leave the Earth, and do stuff in space. So I just think that is better storytelling, and that can rival like the new Star Treks and stuff. And that develops into a trilogy. Like I just think the first one wasn't a good go, but the problem is like that kind of movie costs a lot of money, and that's why the first one not being a good go means that they're not going to make a second one. But I really do believe that Green Lantern could replace the Superman altogether, and they could make really good stories just focusing on Green Lantern, on just on all of them.
Okay, so are you saying like just having like a Green Lantern book, not necessarily, but have it rotate characters from
I'm having a movie like yeah.
I'd love to see and Jon Stewart's another one I think is a grossly undervalued character because the Young Justice shit and some of those TV shows, that was the Green Lantern. That's to kids, the 18 to 30, that's their Green Lantern is Jon Stewart. I think he's an undervalued and underrated Green Lantern. I'd really like to see like an Idris Elba. I have seen people with the Ice Cube. No, get the fuck out of here with the Ice Cube. But I could totally see Idris Elba killing it as... I don't know. I'm excited. I would love to see all these characters done correctly. Like I said, that I don't think the kid that they got playing Flash doesn't do it for me right now either.
Who, Ezra Miller?
Yeah, the
The
kid
movie
from
or
the
the TV show?
he's a great actor, but
The Harry Potter guy?
yeah, I don't know. And I like Henry Cavill, but yeah,
You see the video that they released today or Netflix released today
for the Witcher
of him?
thing,
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so trash. Hot
yeah,
garbage.
I know.
Like he looks like the guy, but his head's too big. I don't know. It's hot garbage. Hot garbage.
Can you fix Superman on the big screen? Because I don't know if you can. I don't know if it's a. I don't know if it's.
I don't think you need to.
Okay.
All the good Superman stories have been told.
You know what? That's the one
Unless you're
thing I
gonna go with
hated
unless
about.
you're gonna go with like Red Sun. I think Red Sun is the only other story that needs to be told.
Red Sun would have been good, but God, they had a fucking. Could you imagine if they'd have done the Doomsday trilogy and done it correctly? Like where he literally is, it starts off the same way. The first one, him and Candace, they do the whole family deal. Doomsday comes at the end. He's got to go save it. The second one, it's a Justice League fighting Doomsday. The third's a finale, him and Doomsday basically going toe-to-toe for a whole movie. He dies. You know what they could have done if they'd have done that correctly? Actually used what Doomsday looks like in the comic books, etc., etc. It'd have been fucking awesome. Fucked it up.
It would be really expensive though. So I
But
don't know.
here's the thing about it was what we found out with the Infinity Wars. People will pay the shit ton of money in IMAX tickets if you give them the product they want to see. We waited 10 years to watch Thanos wreck shop. And you know what? People got their payoff after 10
Yeah, but
years.
Marvel had 10 years to prove that people would pay
That's
for their
correct,
product.
but Marvel did an awesome job
And
to keep
DC
that
doesn't
many.
have a track record of people like buying
Marvel
paying
was like
to...
a snowball at the top of a cliff. I mean, by the time we got to the bottom, it was a fucking giant snowball leading an avalanche. Marvel did an excellent job with that. DC.
Yeah, but instead of snow, it was cocaine.
That's right, though. Sometimes you gotta do a little cocaine. See, that's what I'm saying. Bring out fucking Snowflame. Do a live-action Snowflame Lobo movie. Are you shitting me?
Yeah, no, a Snowflame Lobo movie would be amazing.
Just have him riding motorcycles around like the Pacific Northwest, just shooting
Yeah,
fucking people.
and he's like,
Doing
you have to
cocaine?
be reformed. He's like, no, I can't be reformed. My superpower, I get high on cocaine.
It's
Yeah,
so
no,
good.
that would be the greatest.
That would be good.
But,
I don't know. There's a lot of really good speculation out there still that people have not picked up on. Don't look at all the shiny stuff that everyone's telling you to look at. Look at the stuff that's right there. Read the books that people are in now. If you read comic books, which everyone should, I'm not saying go out and read 40 books a week, but you need to have a few titles that you read just because it's just you got to. You got to have a book and a character that you have some investment and some sort of attachment to make this fun, or you just get to a point where it's not worth it, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree.
I said I enjoy reading what Damian Wayne's going to do each week, or what the Batman book, anything in the Bat family. Honest to God, I read.
yeah.
Even if you want to wait, like if you don't want to wait, to just do a trade, just do the floppies and get 6 issues at once.
Yeah, and the speed that they get the trades out nowadays. I mean, there's usually about a 45-day wait till, I guess, 45 to 60-day wait, and they usually have those trades out in the shop. So they've done a really good job getting those.
And they're the same price, if not sometimes cheaper than buying the individual.
Well, DC's been publishing a lot of books like twice monthly too. So, I mean,
Yep.
the stories are really getting out there fast.
Yeah, I think that their strategy's working for comic book wise, like digital. I mean, what do you call it? Print, I guess. But Marvel, has anybody read Marvel still? I mean, have they? I know that they redid some X-Men stuff, some things like that. Have they gotten any better? Is it still the same shit? Has their art gotten any better?
Like I refuse to read Marvel, but the art does look like it's getting better. But I mean, what can you say? They have been canceling a lot of titles that I agree with. So who knows? But I don't think Marvel's knows what they're doing with their comics right now.
Boy, they yeah. I don't understand why they've ruined the X-Men the way that they have.
In
I
what way
understand
have
that
they
people
like? What
don't.
do you mean ruin the X-Men?
Those titles don't sell the way that they used to, and it's because they have the wrong teams. I mean, I
Well, I
understand.
mean, they haven't sold well since the '90s, really, since
That's
the
what I'm saying. But
issue
here's the
one.
thing about it, though, all these people, like me, Paul, all these people, that's the generation that we. I mean, I guarantee you read it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think X-Men survived
But
the
here's the
comic
thing:
book
all they
bubble.
have to do is bring back those teams.
No, I
I
think even if they
disagree.
brought back any team, like they've brought back every one of those writers, they've tried to redo every one of those
But they
stories.
have not brought back the same teams.
No, they have. They have. I
Not
think
the
you're wrong on
same
that.
teams.
They
They've always
have.
thrown in
They've
like
brought back the exact same
what's that
teams.
stupid dude, Phantom X? Or they always add that fucking weird
Yeah,
guy
no,
or
they've
something in
brought
there.
every team back, and it's still like over the last 20 years, they've brought every team back in every different formation, whether it's X-Men Blue, X-Men Red. They've done different Avengers versus X-Men. They've done everything they've done in the past, and nobody gives a fuck about it. So it's not. It has nothing to do with the team because they've done every
What?
different team.
You would know
It's
more
not the
about
team.
that than I would, to be honest with you. But
Okay.
I just figured that every time I read X-Men books, it's never. I want Gambit. I want Wolverine. I want Rogue. I want Cyclops, Jean Grey. I don't want fucking Banshee. I want Storm and Colossus. I don't want. You know what I mean? I don't want Phantom X and fucking what's that little dork or what's the little green goblin looking dude's name that everyone wants to just Dorf? What's his name? Someone help me out.
Toad?
Dupe.
Dupe, yeah, shit like that. I mean, come on. I mean, literally,
Yeah.
they fucking took Professor's brain out of his head for how many years? I mean, they had storylines about people trying to steal and keeping his brain.
Yeah, no, I think your main problem is like you're following a stupid title that Marvel doesn't care about. I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
when the
that's what I
publisher
mean.
doesn't care about the title, there's no reason to continue reading it. And
I
that's what's
guess it
happened
was
with
seeing a.
X-Men, that's what happened with Fantastic Four, that's what happened with a lot of Marvel titles. I mean, they started like putting effort into it now, but it's like who cares? It's too little, too late.
I just saw that the World Series trophy was damaged by a rogue beer. Sorry.
Yeah, it was me. You're welcome.
Damn it, Sean.
No, they're just I just like I said, read these books. There's a lot of good speculation underneath the surface. There's a lot of young characters, and they have cheap first appearances, and they're not difficult to find. And most of them have variants and decent ratio. You got
And the thing
nothing to.
is, most speculators aren't reading these books.
Yep.
So there's a lot like of first appearances that aren't being specced on or that are respected on really late because nobody's picking them up. Like the new Daredevil from this week is starting to sell well because nobody buys these books and nobody reads them. It takes 2 days for stuff to pick up. Like it's just not mind numbing.
See, and there's the other thing too is I got some shit for this, but I need when I talk about these lists. If someone puts out a list and wants you to buy these certain books, there's a reason they want you to buy these certain books. It means that they're buying books that's not on that list. Don't follow the fucking herd on some of these lists and some of this stupid shit. That's all I'm saying is, I mean, it's deception. A lot of that is deception. People want you to look at this and buy this and talk about this when they're buying something completely different. Like I said, I know where bodies are buried.
I don't. So does Joe Exotic. I think that's why he's locked up
God damn it! I thought we were
because
gonna
now
do a
they're
whole
now they're
podcast.
digging up his zoo, and they're gonna charge him with like all these animals that are dead at his zoo.
Yeah, it's not gonna be pretty.
Yeah, but I mean that's what it sounds like you're talking about. It's just mind-boggling how your lives are such parallel.
Yeah, they better check the stomachs.
It's mind-boggling how we're just parallel. I agree.
No, yours and his. I mean, you're both from Oklahoma. You're both fiery guys. You both have flair. No, I'm just trying to upset you. Sorry.
No, I'm not gonna. Man, like I said, life's too short to get too upset about shit. I could have got upset about a lot of shit last red hour. What do you do? Like I said, this is what I missed. Is I missed talking comics. I'm like people that knew what was going on. I hated talking about, talking to comics for 25 minutes and no one else no one would read anything else. I mean, it was just that wasn't fun to me. Like I said, and Jimmy reads a lot of comics. He reads a lot more. Jimmy reads a lot more indie stuff. I know he doesn't do the DC Marvel. I know
No,
he
I've
does
been
quite a
reading
bit.
I just went back and I've been reading because these guys were saying like, oh, you had to pick good horror books, and I mean, I didn't. I have like some old horror like hardcovers that reprint stuff, but I've been reading my Joe Simon and Jack Kirby crime books. Those books are fucking amazing. I don't know if you've ever like read any of those, but um,
Not.
there's books from the 40s and 50s that like are the original uh, America's Most Wanted, where they have like they have rewards if you find people. They have full stories of what happened,
Jeez.
and they're amazing. So I have a few hardcovers that collect a few of those, and I mean I've just been rereading some of those because they're great. There's so many words, which is what bothers me about like comics from the 80s. But I really like these books. So if you see Kirby and Simon crime books, they're always good because those guys like when they work together always really produce quality stuff.
Are they releasing a Marvel or another stupid
No, they're
question?
not. No, they're okay. So when before and after they worked with Marvel, they published their own books. So they're with various different publishers, as far as I can remember. But none of them are really with Marvel or DC or anything. And I couldn't tell you any of the publishers offhand.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, what have you been reading, or what's new in the turtle world, Mr. Paul Dub?
I have not been reading the new IDW. I'm still in that hoarding and not reading section. I have, I went through that phase where I just didn't read. I didn't have time, and now it's hard with not doing the stuff I used to do, but with family stuff. But I have been consistently reading Oblivion Song and whatever the hell that other book is called. I just read it.
Let's go.
Die.
What?
Is it the Die one?
The zero gravity one, whatever that one is.
Sorry, where were we at?
So little kids were at your door beating it down.
They're just I could feel like I got headsets on doing this right now. So
But you have Ring too, so couldn't you just look at through the
you don't
Ring?
think I didn't turn my Ring off at like 5:30?
You turned it off.
Wait, how do you know I have Ring?
In Baltimore, you kept saying, "Hey, look at my Ring. Check out my Ring. I'm a fancy technology-based person." And I was like, "What the fuck is this nonsense?"
Weird, you were high the whole time. I didn't think you remember anything.
Yeah, and you know exactly. You did exactly what I'm saying. So whatever. You just kept trying to showboat your Ring. I watched.
Showboat.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Because you're so high class with your Ring. I know what you were doing.
Guys, look at this. All right, Paul, where are we at, buddy?
So Jimmy was waving at the camera to signal edit mode or something, but you were asking about turtles, and I was telling Jimmy that you may not want me back after you realize how little I've been reading. But I have not read any of the IDW turtle stuff yet. Just have not made time. But I've heard it's extremely good, and I have all the trades and I have all the issues. But I have been reading Skyward and Oblivion Song, and I think those are really good. I was doing I wasn't doing a lot of reading comic wise, so I stopped doing the stuff I was doing, and then family and all that stuff. Life just finds a way to fill in any time it can. But I really, really enjoyed just sitting up in my office attic area and holding a book, and like this, the smell of a new book and a new story from issue one, and like there's no history you have to remember or go back and read issues from whatever year to understand what's going on. And it was just such a I don't know, breath of fresh air to just read something new. It's new books, 2018 stuff, but just it really helped me. It breathed life back into my comic world, just to be able I was on the brink, and I was like, it could have been any book, but those are the two that I ended up picking just on a whim, but it really helped me. So I think I need to switch and just pick up one of these IDW trades and just do an issue a night or something. I was actually considering doing an article for the site of doing, and maybe not weekly, but like reading through the whole Turtles run again, and just kind of summarizing the big plot points, or hey, issues 1 through 5, this is what's going on. Throw some pictures up.
It's like 300 issues,
Some-
right?
yeah.
Like, how many issues is that? How many publishers is that?
Well, the Mirage, like start with the Mirage run and go from there.
But how many publishers is that?
Publishers for
Yeah, how many publishers have they gone through?
a handful. I don't know. There was Mirage, and then
Image, IDW,
yeah, Image
and then I'm
IDW.
pretty sure there were other ones in between.
Yeah, there was offshoots, and
I think maybe Malibu. Aren't they published by Malibu at some point?
that's a good question. I don't know.
But anyways, my point is, like, it's just that's such a big task to go through the entire run. But
Yeah, but
I commend that that's what you want to do.
I mean, Volume 1 Mirage was only 62 issues.
Only 62 issues. I remember when I got through the Boys run, I was like, thank God, not doing that again. Like, I can't sit down and read the whole thing, and it's just so repetitive after a while.
But the IDW run is up to like 194, which is the longest running for Turtles ever. Of any of the
Yeah, and they have some cool covers for the IDW one, and a lot of them are under ordered.
Yeah, I'm not really chasing the current IDW. I just tell my LCS, just grab what you can, incentive wise and all that stuff. But I was really surprised at Baltimore to find that Christmas cover for cheap. Actually, I found both. The what is that issue? It's issue 3 and then issue 5.
Yeah, no, that Christmas cover. I know this because I got a bunch from Wes. There was a convention in the Midwest that gave them to you for setting up. And when I mean gave them to you, gave you 10 copies. So each exhibitor got a stack of copies. So I imagine that's where those copies were. The one of where the girl's holding the toys, right?
Yeah.
And in the Christmas window, yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
No, it's a great cover, and I don't know where it originally came from. I just know at one point there was a few shows where they just gave them to dealers.
I thought it was VA Comic Con only, and it was limited to 100 or 250 or something, a smaller.
Yeah. All I know is Wes got a bunch because he set up at a show, and I assume that's how everybody else got them.
But I literally turned the issue upside down and kept digging because I didn't want anyone to peer over my shoulder and know what I had. Not that anyone would, but you never know.
Have you guys seen the copies of Gobbledygook 1 and Gobbledygook 2 up on eBay with the receipt?
With the receipt?
Yep.
What does that mean?
Well, apparently the original receipt where the guy bought it at Earth Prime Comics from a guy named Ted in 1982. No, I'm serious. Look, I'm looking at it. You can't make this shit up.
It gives you that much information?
It does.
That's
on
funny.
eBay.
That's funny, actually. But no, I haven't seen that.
There's so much cool rare turtle shit out there. Like that damn fucking Turtles 29, the volume 4, the Mirage one.
No, it's all about the Turtles, Vanilla Ice music video, VHS.
So the ones from Volume 4 to look for would be number 1 first print, and then number 25 and 26 are hard to come by. I think 27 is up there, but then definitely 29 and 30, and then 31 is kind of so-so, and 32 is so-so, but definitely 29 and 30. They were limited to, I think, 1,000 each, available only on their website for $10 each.
Which one's the IDW ones?
No, Mirage Volume 4.
The ones with they had like the turtle with like Michelangelo on the cover with the tooth out, right?
That's 28. So 25 and 26 is Leonardo going into and coming out of a portal.
Right.
27 is
There's one that got like a Stegosaurus or some weird dude on it.
Yeah, that's 27. But the primo ones are 29, which is Casey Jones at like a sitting at a bar with a bunch of aliens drinking a beer, and then 30 is like a big hammerhead shark on the cover. And those two are
Oh, the Hammerhead one. I know the Hammerhead son bitch is almost impossible.
29 is I think even harder than that.
No, there's a bunch of cool stuff like that out there turtle wise. But you want to know something else is cool?
What is this
You guys hear me?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle costume you're sending us?
No, I said it's a fucking. If Paul doesn't need that in his fucking life for next year.
I don't. It looks. Oh
No,
my
it looks
goodness!
horrible,
I
but it's
can't
so good at the
believe
same
that this
time.
is actually fully licensed, 1988.
That's what I mean.
That's where I'm at with like
I
the
know!
astonishment, man. And
It's
when
so great.
I do this in post production, I'll be showing it, so people will be looking at it right now. But I mean, I'm just astonished that I'm looking at this as well. So I hope Paul looked at it too, because
Of course he
jeez.
looked at it. Paul looks at everything. He's just as great about Paul.
And yeah, it's in one of those classic Halloween bags.
The ones that those bags that if they don't have a costume in it, they're at your local pharmacy to hold your fucking drugs.
Exactly.
Iraq right now.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying.
But we're also on this podcast, Jimmy and Paul. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna have people on that talk about rare and tennis shoes that flippable. I don't know if you guys know, but Thomas Vay, my buddy from Seattle, who used to run the grading club with me, he does sells a lot of high end shoes. He agreed to come on a couple times a month and talk. You know the shoe game. It's quite crazy how flippable shoes are right now. And they've been that way for a long time. This is nothing new, but this is new to me. But there's quite a few people who do that, and they make quite a bit of money doing it. So I'd like to learn a little bit more about it. So we're gonna have some conversations about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah.
definitely money there, especially with like the whole hype beast
Yeah.
movement that's going on, and like people following all those brands. Which again, it's just nonsense. Like it's so much stuff that I just can't get into it. I mean, you're buying stuff at $200 and selling them for like 800 to 1,000, but you have to know like exactly which one to buy, and it sells out immediately. It sucks.
Well, I mean, like StockX. I mean, I bought 4 different pairs of shoes off StockX in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean those sites are good. I mean the problem is like, of course, the fakes. You got to be.
But you know what's cool about StockX is they authenticate the shoes for you. Like you buy a pair of shoes, they have to ship them to the website. They have to ship them to StockX. They authenticate that they're real. They put this like little lariat around it to authenticate it, and then they ship the shoes to you from StockX. So
I mean that takes longer to get to you.
it does.
But I
the
mean,
thing about
I
it,
can
though,
completely understand how the benefits of that.
because there's no graded comic. There's no like.
But I
graded
feel like
shoes.
there are graded shoes actually. But I feel like we're
Are there
going to bring other people onto the podcast as well for like various topics because
Yes,
I mean we
action
wanted to
figures.
focus on like all various aspects of speculation. But I
Yeah.
really do feel like that was all we had for the first episode.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good episode. I know we left some things in the outline that I think we can push for next time because I definitely want to talk about that one thing. But yeah, I mean, I want to thank Paul, and I hope Paul joins like all of them. I guess I just want to thank
Yeah.
Trey for putting this together. So, I mean, you guys didn't have anything else you wanted to say?
I
No.
appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
No, like I said, we're gonna do action figures. We're gonna do sports cards. We're gonna do. I mean, if there's, Jimmy and I really hadn't talked about it yet, but we kind of, or Paul, I know Paul be behind this, but we were kind of trying to talk about like doing a Christmas speculation show about hot toys and hot toys from the past that we may or had not have had. I got a few stories from high school for like Tickle Me Elmos and just different things like that, and kind of try to do some try to
Yeah, I mean,
expand.
me and Paul actually send each other hangouts all the time about fun toys to flip to a certain extent.
But I mean, you know what's crazy is, have you guys ever looked at like rare Pez dispensers?
Yeah. I mean, there's if you also look at office supplies from the 80s, there's a lot of things that it doesn't make sense the prices on
That's
stuff.
what's fun though. It doesn't mean I necessarily want to collect or flip them, but I want to know about them. You know what I mean? I think that's what's cool about kind of the speculation. That's what the whole reason I created CBSI for was to. Well, the one was to find a copy of the Supergirl 23 Legend Losh, but is to find out about other books and other things that I didn't know about. And that's what I'm excited about this, is I want to know about what, if I go into some store and I find a pair of shoes, or if I find a Hot Wheel or a Pez dispenser or, a first edition Turtles figure or something like that. I'd like to be educated enough to know what I'm looking at, and that's what I'm excited about with this podcast.
All right, well, I think that's all we have. Again, we'll just catch you guys next week. Thanks again for tuning in.